Hello everyone, my name is Harshit. So today I'm going to discuss about async await. Let me just do this. Yeah. So the talk is around the callbacks, promises. Now, first of all, thank you Diksha for taking a wonderful session on promises. I guess it has cleared a lot of doubts on promises for the people here, and so I will go deep dive into the async await, which is like uh, a topic around the promise which will help ease the what are the like there are drawbacks in the promises. With async await, it has extra features which will overcome these drawbacks. Okay, so before that I need to ask you guys how many freshers are here, basically like freshers or who are in the college studying. Can I see some s if there are any here in the list? Okay. So I see, oh, there are a lot of people. That's great. That's great. So, okay. So you guys should be aware of web development, right? So web development would consist of front end and back end. So this is one concept where async await, where we are having a call with the network call with the backend to fetch the data, and we display the same in the front end, in the UI. Okay. So next would be about me. So I'm a software development engineer working in Lumen Technologies. So I have around 2+ years of experience. I majorly focused on UI development. So yeah, like as I started working on the UI, I fell in love with JavaScript. I started learning more and more. And thanks to Sunny, I got an opportunity to showcase one of the topic which I was very interested. I was doing research more on to showcase here to share my thoughts basically. Okay, so I'm really excited to go more. But before that, I just wanted to start with a joke. So this is an image which was kind of funny to me. If you see here, when front end is ready before back end. So before that we fetch the data, we can't display much in the UI. Okay, this is what happens if we just showcase in the UI without anything, without any data that are coming from the backend. So promise and async await is a way through which we are getting the data and we are displaying it for the user. I mean, I found it funny, so I just thought to share it with you guys. So yeah, let's proceed with async await. Okay. Okay. So async await. So the word async before a function means one simple thing. That means it is an asynchronous function. It always has to return a promise. Before that, you guys need to be aware of one thing. JavaScript is a single-threaded synchronous language. That means whatever the code is there, it gets executed one by one below the one. So what happens when there's an asynchronous call? That means I'm making a call to the backend or to some data center to fetch the data. 10 seconds to 15 seconds. Do you think user wait for 15 seconds just to see one random line? Or do you think it would be feasible? Would it be user friendly? The technology is so fast that we expect everything within seconds. All right, like we need data to be very fast. We'll be like going through the Instagram. If we don't get one image, we'll be like, oh, frustrated. What is happening? Why is Instagram not working? We go to Twitter and we start tweeting and all. Right. I mean, this is what even I did when Instagram was not working. So we need to make sure that the user experience should be beautiful. So, but there is a flaw in the JavaScript, or it's a beautiful thing in JavaScript where every code is executed synchronously. So we need to make sure that this particular call, what is happening to the backend or to the data center, should also look like it's happening synchronously. That's where we use async. With calling a function with async, would make sure that we are getting a promise. So we are telling the JavaScript that, okay, I know what is happening here. I have called a promise that will take some time. You can go ahead and proceed with the other lines of execution of the code. So for that to happen, we are using a word called await. Okay, what we are telling with the help of await, that we are telling the JavaScript that, okay, you can proceed with the other lines of code. Once the promise is settled, so whatever I get the response from the promise, that detail I will show it to you once I get whatever the data from the backend or the data set. Okay, so that is a overall example of async await. Did you guys understand what I'm trying to tell? If you want, I can explain again. There is no issue. And if I'm a bit fast, let me know. I can slow down. I can easily explain. I have time. Okay. So my point is to make sure that you guys understand what it is, so that you can implement in your project and make your project beautiful. That's the only thought. Okay. Cool. I believe there is. Okay. Great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the response. This actually keeps me going. Okay. Awesome. So what is the next thing? So async await is more like an alternative for consuming promises, and it was implemented in ES 2017. So you guys understood promise, right? What happens in promise? Either it returns a resolved state with the data, or it rejects it, saying that okay, whatever you have requested, there is nothing coming from that side. So I'm throwing you an error. So these are the two values, either resolved or rejected. We are using this value to display the data. Okay. So let me go through the demo. See, what I thought is, instead of going through a lot of theory, I will explain you more on the examples or some kind of interview questions and some kind of normal example. Okay. So let's go ahead and see here. Okay. So guys, these all are available for you. I'll be sharing the PPT later so that you can get into this code. I can fork it. You can work on your own. You can do whatever you want. Okay. Cool. So I'll explain what is happening here. Okay. So we see that there are three functions, right? One is called welcome. One is called other function. One is an async function, which is returning a statement. Cool. Okay. So you guys know, right? JavaScript is a single-threaded synchronous language. So everything gets executed one by one. So these are function. In the execution, it gets named, but it doesn't get executed. So it starts from here. We see console.log start of execution. After that, what am I doing? I'm calling a welcome function. Okay. The welcome function is returning me this statement, and then I'm calling other function, which is returning me this result. Okay. So first I'm calling just a synchronous function. I'm not calling this async function. So if I run this, so you know, right, the expected output would be start of execution. Then I'm calling welcome function call, which is returning me welcome to DevCode November Talks. And then I'm calling other function, which is returning welcome to other program, and end of execution. Now I'm introducing async function. What do you guys think the response would be? You can say yes, W, O, E, and A for short form. Okay, I don't mind. So I'm waiting for you guys for the response. If I get any response, I'll proceed. You guys understood the concept, right? These two are the normal function, and this is an async function. There should be something special in async function. That's why we are using this particular word here. Okay. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, I see different response. Good. So, okay. So let me run this code. So what is happening here? If you see, right? First, I'm calling start of execution. That is normal. Okay. After that, I'm calling a welcome function. Welcome to DevCode November Talks. And after that, I'm calling other function, which is welcome to other program. After that, I'm calling this line of code, right? But what do you see here? I mean, it's showing end of execution. Why did this happen, basically, right? So what is happening here is, when I call this function, it goes to this function, and it sees that there is a return statement. Okay. Since it is asynchronous call, it tells the JavaScript you can go ahead with the execution of all the statement. Once the loop is done, at the end, if I get the result, I will showcase here. So this promise is being called. After the promise is being called, the next statement is executed, which is end of execution. And after that, it comes back and it says, okay, now I have a response, which is let's discuss more on asynchronous call. That what I have to do, I have to display here. That's what I'm doing. Did you guys understand this? Do you want me to explain again? So this is a basic example that what I thought, okay, I'll take it so that you understand this, like a level 1 question. Okay, you understood this concept. Next, let's go to the next question and then we can discuss more on that. Shall I proceed? You understood, right? What is happening in async function? Can I see some yes? If I see some yes, okay, awesome. Okay, great, guys. Thank you so much for the wonderful response. Okay, let's see. So I'm taking one more demo example. It'll be a bit more complicated. It's not very complicated. Maybe I saw this in one of the interview questions. So I thought, okay, I learned about it. Maybe I can explain it to you guys. Okay, so let's ignore this. Okay, fine. So we see there are two functions basically, right? This function resolve after 5 seconds just for the namesake. I wanted to discuss more on set timeout, but it will take more time. Since this is a time constraint, I will proceed. Okay, fine. So this is one function which is returning me a promise. Okay, it tells me, okay, once it is resolved, I have to return you this. This function will return me a promise is resolved on once the promise is resolved, basically. Okay, and then I have created one more async function which is calling resolve after 5 second function. Okay, once we get the resolve after 5 second response, I'm going to display the result. Okay, first let me show you without calling that async function. What is the response expected? Start the execution. Since I have commented this, then it will be end of the execution. That would be the normal thing, right? Right. Now I will call async function. So if I call the async function, what is happening here? So we see the start the execution is being executed for. It's obvious that it starts with this console.log start the execution. We see that here. Then I'm calling async call. So this goes to async function call execute the block. Okay, we see there's a block here. It goes here. So once it enters here, what is the obvious? So first it should be calling this console log because it's already inside this function. So that we are seeing in the output. So once I call this async call, it is going inside this async function call, and then this should be displayed, and it is being displayed here. Okay, after that, what am I doing? I'm telling I'm creating a constant called result, which is telling, okay, I need to, this is a promise, this returns promise. I need to wait for a while for this promise to be returned, and after that, I will be returning you the result. Okay, so what is happening is this console.log result is not being executed. So it waits for a while because this is, so the beautiful thing about the async await is it makes sure that after this line of statement is completed or executed completely with either resolve or reject, then only it will proceed with the next statement. So it is telling the JavaScript that, okay, this will take a time. You can proceed with the other execution of the code. Then JavaScript is like, okay, fine, I'll go ahead, and then it is executing this line of code. So we see that end execution has come up, and after that, this await is telling, oh wait, I got the result. So what is that? Since it is resolved, it is telling, okay, promise is resolved is a statement that I got from this. So this gets appended with promise is resolved statement, and that statement I am displaying it here, which is promise is resolved. Okay, this is one example which I thought is very interesting, which is covering a good topic. So I thought I would take it out. Any questions so far? So basically what I need to say here is I can like, technically speaking, this is what in general what is happening. If you want to know more on the technical side, it is basically saying, okay, execution of statement will start, and then it is going to call async call, and once it enters here, this statement is being executed, and after that, since it is await statement, there is something called as micro task. There is a execution context, and there is something called as web API context. Okay, this particular statement go for web API context, and it will say, okay, this is a micro task that needs to be executed at the end of this execution, but we should not disturb the execution context that is going on. So it tells the JavaScript that you can proceed and go ahead with the other execution of code. So that's why this goes to the microtask stack, and then it will wait for the result to come. After that only this result will be shown in the console. Okay. Yeah, Dheeraj, I see you had a question and you are written clear. I hope I have cleared your doubt. Awesome, awesome. Yeah. Any question, guys? Any other questions? You guys understood so far, right? Oh, awesome, Ankush. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, guys, I see a lot of people who have taken out their Saturday afternoon time to join this session. We owe you, actually. Thank you for supporting us. This is really great. Okay. Yeah. So let me proceed again. Okay. So you understood the basic of async await, right? Let's go ahead with the next topic. Why we use async await. So we saw Diksha showing you the different codes for promises, and before promises there is something called as callback. So what usually happens is there will be set of multiple functions. Okay, I'll tell you from the GitHub. I need to show you, like you saw Diksha's one of the example where she was showcasing an image, right? So what was she doing? Basically, she was calling GitHub API. Once she get the response from GitHub API, in the body, whatever the stream she gets, she is converting that into the JSON format, and from the JSON data, she is collecting whatever the data is necessary. Correct. What if I tell you, okay, once you get the image, make another call to a different API, which will give you different result. And once you get that result, you make another call, which will fetch you one particular result that you have to show it in the UI. So you see, there's a series of events, one after the other, that all are dependent on the previous call, more like a promise chain that is being explained. So if you see, right, before what was happening is, it was a nightmare for especially fresher or the junior developers when we see the code base, and it's like a chain of thoughts, chain of code, one after the other, linked together, just for one result. We are like, okay, what is going on here? We need to understand. Like if we miss one step also, we will be like, okay, I don't know what is going on. So again, we need to start from the scratch. After one statement, okay, then this should happen. Okay, then this should happen. So it was like a series of nested functions. So the code was very difficult to read. Basically, it led to poor structuring. That's where async await came, where we are telling, okay, ignore the nested kind of code. Let's make it simple. We'll execute one line after the other. Okay, this particular line, this particular promise is being resolved or rejected. After whatever the response we get, we'll execute the next statement. Something on that fashion. Okay. And even in the promise, if we see, right, for every promise, we can attach dot then and dot catch where we are handling the error. So with the help of async await, we can create a try catch block. With the help of try catch block, that will eliminate a lot of code errors, like error code that is a dot catch for every promise, and we can make it as a one context where we get a set of errors and we can display it at an easy place. And even it will help in debugging. Basically, that's what I mentioned. It will be easier for me to explain the demo. Now that you know the context of what is happening, right? Let's go ahead with the demo. With the demo, it will be easier to explain. That's what I thought. So I come up with this question. Okay. Okay. Let's see this set of question. Okay. So basically, we see there are 3 functions right now. There is one more. I have commented it. I'll explain it later. Okay. This is about promise. What Diksha has explained. I have taken an example from there, and I'm explaining more on that. Okay. First, let me explain you what is happening in promise. Then it will be easier for me to explain more on with async await concept. Okay. Basically, there are 2 functions. One is make request, which is returning me a promise saying that, okay, making request to location, whatever I am sending. Okay. Whatever is the parameter here, location that is being displayed here. And I'm checking a condition saying that, okay, if this location is equal to dev code, I'm saying dev code says hi, or else we'll only talk to dev code. Okay. And there is one more function, process request. okay, which is telling, okay, this is also returning me a promise saying, okay, processing is processing response, and it is displaying an extra information about this, okay, response, which whatever is the parameter that is being displayed here. So if we see this make request chain of promise, right, what is happening is first I am making a make request call, okay, passing parameter dev code. So I am waiting for a response to come up. Once I get the response, what I'm doing, okay, I got the response now. I'm saying, okay, I got the response. And after that, I'm again calling a new function called process request, which again it returns a promise. So again, I'm saying, okay, dot then whatever I get the response, I need to display it over here. You see, right, what is happening, the thought process. It's like, okay, I'm making first call. After I got the response, then only I need to make the second function call. In the same way, it goes on and on and on. See, I don't want to make a big code, so I just thought to explain it to this small code so that you understand what it is. Okay, let me execute this. You see what is happening here. First, I'm making make request dev code. Okay, so I'm calling this function. So this is telling, okay, this is saying, okay, making a request to dev code. Okay, then it is telling, okay, this promise is still pending. I need to wait for the promise to come up. Then I'm saying response received. Once the response is received, I'm telling to go to this function process request. So whatever the response I received, so the response is this, right? Resolve dev code says hi, correct? So that is being passed here as the response, process response, and then that I am passing it here. So if we see here, right, response received, after response is received, it goes to this function where it is telling processing response, and once the response is being processed, it is sending me the response saying that, okay, the promise is being resolved and this is what you are getting. So that I am displaying in console.log process response. Okay, I went a bit fast. I'll explain again what is happening. Okay, so basically I'm calling a make request function call, passing the parameter dev code. Okay, this has to return me a promise. Okay, so what is it sending? Console.log make request to location. The location is dev code. This is being sent, and then I'm telling whatever the this is what it is. So I'm saying return process response, process request dot response. Okay, so that's why it's telling process promise pending. So why is it telling promise pending is, before getting the response, I'm telling, okay, I need to call this process request response. Okay, this is why I'm getting promise pending. After that, what I'm telling is, okay, once this process request is done, whatever the response I get, so what is happening is now I'm sending a response. What is it? Dev code says hi to process request. Okay, this is also returning me a promise only. So what is it telling? Okay, processing response. We see here processing response, and then the resolve. What is it? Extra information, that is response. The dev code says hi. You see, right? First of all, it's a chain of events that are happening one after the other, and if I miss one function call also, then I get confused. Okay, what is happening now? Again, I need to go from the beginning. You understood now what I'm trying to tell? Like, I'm trying to create a confusion so that it becomes easier for me to explain async function, what we are trying to mitigate over there. But before that, you need to understand what is happening here. Why is it difficult for us to understand this? And because of which we are going for async await. There are many scenarios where a promise would be better than the async await, and it would be vice versa. That we need to understand. So I'm creating a scenario to explain that, okay, here in this case, async await is better than promise. Okay, so far, any question? Any doubt? Okay, cool. So, okay, now you understand what is happening in promise. Let's go with async await. Okay, see, now there is no response. Basically, what I'm telling is, okay, I'm telling, okay, the promise part, what I wanted to explain is being completed. So I'm just leaving it as it is. Let's go with the async await, okay. Now the same code, what is happening here, right? I have written it here, basically. So what was the thing was happening with the promise? First, I'm telling, okay, make a request. Whatever the response you get, you say response received. And after that, call one more promise, one more function, which is process request. That whatever you get, you have to display that response. Okay. So what am I doing here? I'm telling, okay, I'm using async function. I have a special word called await, which tells the JavaScript that this is a promise, which will be returning me end result, either resolved or rejected state at the end. So I don't need to create a chain of promise. This is basically a statement saying that, okay, first it needs to make a make request dev code function call. Whatever the response I get, I'm telling, okay, just console log the response. And then I'm saying the response is received. Whatever the response I get this right over here, that I'm passing it as a parameter for process request. So instead of making a chain of events and creating a nested loop and going inside and finding it difficult to understand, it's just a series of statements. That's it, one statement after the other. So this also is telling me the same thing, right? If you see here, what is happening? I am making a request to the dev code. Okay. After that, whatever the response I get, I am displaying it here. That is dev code says hi. Right. This was the response because it is resolved. Since the location is dev code and it is matching with the dev code, it is telling, okay, I am sending you the resolved state, which is dev code says hi. Since you're matching the parameter, whatever the condition is being asked for is being met easily. So I'm saying dev code is hi, which is console.log response. Once I get this response, I'm telling response is being received. So we know that now already the response is present and response is being received. So what is the next step? I need to pass whatever the response I got from this promise result. I am sending it here as a parameter. So I'm calling this function process request and I'm passing whatever the response I got over here. So once I got over here, I'm passing the response over here. What is the state? It is telling, okay, processing the response, and then it is sending me a promise saying that extra information. The code says hi. Correct? Line 37 should have a read right line 37. Oh yeah. So we see that this is it is a promise is being sent because it is being all of a sudden. Okay, it is not taking more time. As soon as the request is being asked, the function is being called, it is being sending the result status. But in case of a API where it is taking more than 5 to 6 seconds, then in that case we are not expecting this. This will be promise pending state. Okay, that would be of no help for us. We need the data at the end. So with the await, again we are getting process response. We see the difference here. Now it is promise. With this we are getting, instead of promise, the response, right? Yeah, promise pending in the console because I'm telling in the first state, I'm telling, okay, console.log response, whatever it is, you need to display it. So in the beginning it says promise is pending, and as soon as it gets the response, it is displaying dev code says hi. Okay, this is a part of REPL.it which is happening. Any other question? Okay, that is the case. Let me proceed. Okay, I was doing this kind of a demo project in the college. Okay, like in the college, I used to think that, okay, I need to showcase some project in the interview so that like I can talk more about that project, something like that. So this was one thought I had in the college. Okay, always like, okay, this is the easiest project would be to randomly generate a code. Okay, so we have an API which will send a list of codes. Okay, let me show you with the demo example. Okay, here I'm using Code Sandbox where we can showcase the JavaScript code or the React code. Different. Okay. So before that, let me explain what I have done here. Okay. So this is the output. Whatever I have shown is the something I have added to that uh, to this project. Okay. Before that, I have just created a normal HTML page where I have shown the header daily codes for you, and then I have created a division for the code to be displayed, and then I have a button called generate code. Okay, and this is a script which is calling index.js. So in the index.js, we see that there is a function called generate code. Oh, is the code visible? Do you want me to increase the size or anything? Let me know. I can increase the size. I hope it is visible clearly. It's clear, right? Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay. So we see here there's something called as generate code. Okay, I'm calling it here. Basically, this is an entire. There are series of async function. We need to call it. Okay, so I have created a one normal function generate code, which is doing it. So inside generate code, we see that I have created a async function where I am actually calling. This is a API which will fetch the codes and it will send it to me. I have no idea how much time it takes for the data to come up. Okay, so that's why I'm using await. So as soon as I get the response, what I'm doing is again I'm calling an await where whatever the stream of data that I have received right from fetch, I'm converting that into the JSON. See why we convert it into the JSON is it's very easier for us to display it in the UI. JSON is a structure which is very easy for us to display in the UI. Okay? That's why it's being converted. Whatever the data is converted, that is being returned over there. In case of any kind of error also, I am saying that, okay, there's an error over here. Whatever the error I get, I need to display in the console because I don't want the user to see the error, right? I can show some other message in the UI saying that, okay, whatever you're trying to fetch is not coming up. Cool. So once this function is being created, I'm calling the function. Okay, this is returning me a promise. So whatever I get, the result that I am saying. So this result, whatever we get, what we are getting is around 1,000 plus of codes in a JSON format. Okay, so I don't need to display all the 1,000 codes, right? So I thought, okay, let me display one code at a time. So I'm using math.flow. I'm selecting a random number. Okay, that I'm multiplying with the result, whatever the result that I get dot length, and then that I'm taking as an index. Okay, so in the result, it will be like result of 0 would be one code, result of 1 would be one code. It goes on for maybe 1,000 plus. Okay, I need to fetch only one code and I need to display it in over here. That's the thought I had in mind. Okay, that's where I went over here like this. So once this is called, I'm displaying it here. Okay, so this is the thought process that happened in this project. So whenever I call generate code, right, basically I am calling on the click of button, I'm calling generate code function, which is doing all this functionality and it is being displaying the result. Okay, you see on the click of every click of generate code, I'm getting a different, very nice codes, right? So for any, yeah, thanks, Dheeraj, that's a good thought. Yeah, now that we are going with this, yeah. Is it visible better? Right, okay. So if we see here, right, on click of generate code, every time I'm getting a different result. So now let's do something more on this. Like I just thought, okay, this is something you guys can try it out. So I'll be sending you the link. You can fork this code, the entire GitHub project, and then you can work on your own. Okay, whoever wants to work on it, all up to you. So basically, what I'm doing here is I'm calling one more called image. Okay, so whatever I get the response, I'm returning it over here, and then I'm telling display something like this. So did you see what happened? What just happened? So what have I done? I am calling a normal code. There's a code API, and there's one more API called Unsplash, which will send me a royalty-free beautiful images, nature images. Okay. So I thought, okay, I'm anyway displaying the code. Let me add a background with a beautiful nature image so that it will please the user. It looks better, good, right? That's where I thought, okay, these are the two different API. I need to make sure that once everything has come up, then only I need to display it in the UI. So if I click on the generate code, basically what is happening is, did I click on this code? Okay. It needs to show me a new image. One second. Okay, let's save it. To save it and refresh. So I've added basically a code and an image. See, on a refresh or on a click of generate code, what it has to do is it has to show me a new code and a different background image just for the beautification of the UI. Okay, that's the thought. Guys, this code will be available for everyone. You can explore more and you can create more and you can maybe tag me or tweet me. I would be very happy. So that was the thought I had for this deck set. I can say about the async await. I wanted to explain. So at the end, I have to give a big shout out to Team DevCode for providing us such a wonderful opportunity. We as almost 12 speakers, today is the last set. After me, Akshay would be taking the taking on the generator function, which is again an amazing topic. And I have to give a shout out to DevCode for providing us such a wonderful platform to showcase, like me being a first time speaker, it was kind of difficult for me. There will be that stage fright, right? So Sunny was very helpful. He was helping us with the presentation preparation and he was constantly motivating us. And there are a lot of people who have come for my presentation to support me and motivate me. I thank you all. So yes, that's it. You can reach out to me in LinkedIn, GitHub, Instagram, anywhere. And thank you so much for coming to this session, guys.